It was a bad year for a man who has won 14 major championships. I don't care if Tiger Woods wins every non-major on the PGA Tour. If he fails in all 4 majors to once contend on the final 9 on Sunday of any of the said majors, it was a bad year. And let's look quickly at those 5 tournaments he did win. Okay, he won the Farmers for the 7th time. He won the WGC Cadillac for the 7th time. He won Arnold Palmer's tournament for the 8th time.
He won the Players.
He won the Players for the 2nd time. That was big, and I'll give you that one. But then he won Bridgestone for the 8th time. He rolls out of bed and wins these golf tournaments. Then he goes to the major championships, and I'll give you, he finished 4th in the Masters. He tied for 6th, tied for 4th at the Masters, tied for 6th at the British. Sunday, final 9, back 9 of those 2 tournaments, nowhere to be found. Not really in contention, just sort of hanging in there. And then, of course, he finishes tied for 32nd at the U.S. Open, tied for 40th at the PGA. Not good enough. I watch him at majors now. The whole aura shrinks. The body language sags. The putter goes colder than Bristol in wintertime.
That's impossible.
It's impossible.
It is impossible.
But it does. And in the end, the emperor has no more clothes. This guy doesn't believe anymore he can win a major championship. I can't recognize him there. And I remind you, the competition only gets a little deeper and a little stiffer year after year after year. From Asia, from Europe, Rory will bounce back. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing it from Tiger Woods.
What you're saying, I totally disagree with you, but what you're saying proves my point, because we judge Tiger by a completely different scale than we judge other players on.
And your point is?
My point is that he has created an expectation in us that is completely superhuman and insane. And it's similar to what Serena has created and what Roger Federer or Michael Jordan has created. Obviously, they want the spotlight. They have to take the perks with the responsibilities. Part of it is the expectation that they have.
Okay, but you realize this man has not won a major since June of '08?
This guy has won continuously, and he has won the Player of the Year award again for the 11th time, which means his peers respect him continuously in a way to award him with this huge prize, right? Which means that they understand what it takes to compete on that level and win 5 tournaments in a year. That, no matter if they're Masters or not, if they're majors or not, it's a huge accomplishment. Now, what he has to deal with on a daily basis is nothing that any other player ever has to go through.
Agreed.
The scrutiny that we put him through, the scrutiny that the media puts him through, is something that no other player ever had to cope with in the history. Now you talk about social media, you're talking about the media in general, it has completely changed. So every day when he should practice, when he does all these things that he has to do to prepare for these tournaments, there's this pressure that nobody else feels ever.
Do you really believe Tiger Woods thought he had a great year last year?
Yeah, I think he had a great year, yes.
I don't think he thinks that.
No, he actually said he had a spectacular year, as a matter of fact. He said that himself.
Yeah,
and so think his peers.
His sole goal is to pass Jack Nicklaus.
Well, he will, and he will. I'm sure he will, because winning tournaments means his confidence increases. Every time you win a tournament, your confidence increases. It doesn't matter if it's a major or not. He knows he can compete in majors. Other players obviously had good years. Adam Scott wins the Master. Phil Mickelson wins the British Open. Yeah. Sure. He will win another. He will win multiple majors. I promise you that.
Mr. Boris Kodjoe. Beautiful eloquence in your speech there.
Oh, boy.
Very, very impressive. Very philosophical, I might add.
I'm waiting for the button.
Very impressive.
Something's coming.
Yes.
However, I'm incredibly disappointed with the conclusion that you've drawn. And I'll be the first to acknowledge that I only deal with the sport of golf on a recreational level, just sporadically. I'm not really into it that much. A lot of the stuff that I learned from golf is listening to this guy. He's the one that got me watching the daggone thing, for crying out loud, outside of Tiger playing, because I always watch Tiger playing. But let me be very, very clear. Some of the arguments that you made, to me, makes his argument more potent. And the reason why is this. Tiger says he had a sensational year. You just brought that up. You quoted him.
Yeah.
That's not the Tiger we know. The Tiger we know said anything but first place and he used the S word to talk about how it stinks, and he didn't say stink. He used another S word, okay, which I'm not going to say over these airwaves. The point that I'm trying to make to you is that you act as if we have put a standard on Tiger that is superhuman, and it stops there. Tiger did it. Not just by his play, but by his words and what he ordains or defines as success. Tiger didn't stop defining that as success until he got into his personal troubles, which, by the way, it was never any of our business as far as I'm concerned. And I always felt he got a bad rap about it. In the end, even though he brought some of it on himself with what he tried to portray himself as being. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is this. In the end, Tiger Woods isn't measured by PGA wins. He got 5 PGA wins last year. You were voted the player of the year. You're talking about his peers. Tiger could give 2 cents about his peers in the past. Cares about them now. Why? Because you had some problems? Because you've dissipated in value in terms of your value in the sport of golf? I don't care about all of that. I'm looking at Tiger. I know he's great. I understand he's great. But what I'm saying is because of that greatness and because of what he defined his expectations as being and because he made it clear along with the rest of us that he was going for the all-time record of 18 majors, tying that record and ultimately eclipsing it, and then coming up short, not 1 year, not 2 years, not 3 years, 5 years and counting. This man is devoid of a major. You and I both know that's why Tiger played. The other stuff was a warm-up act for the majors. That's like somebody showing up in the regular season, averaging 30, hitting game-winning shots, balling, and then the finals rolls around and they can't be found. We kill them. So why is it, even though, again, I hear where you're coming from, I'm also siding with my man Skip more so than you because I'm looking at Tiger and saying, I think you're great. But you said to me, Tiger, this ain't great.